It's not emitting any carbon, which is a concern.
Well, that's not true. I really disagree with that. That's the hype that the apologists for nuclear power use. But if you follow the trail of uranium from mining through the damage to the land, through enrichment, the protection that has to be offered to the whole process because of fear of terrorism, the building of plants, the incredible monies that we subsidize federally the plants with, that all has a carbon footprint. I feel there's no place for nuclear power, and for a number of reasons. Primarily, we look at it, again, like everything else, in a bubble. We're not looking at the picture. Number one, it's not needed. Um,
But we get 30% of our electricity.
Yes, and we waste about 40% of our electricity. As consumers of power, we act exactly the way we've been acting with our SUVs getting 6 miles to the gallon. As long as gas was cheap, everybody had to have them. As soon as gas got expensive, suddenly the reality of the pain set in, and people found they could drive little cars really well and get there really well. And we're exactly the same with power. We tend to waste huge volumes of power. At the end use in our homes, there's a huge waste. And then all the way along, transmission. We have a very inefficient transmission system, which wastes huge amounts of power. So before you even get to frugality or doing without, just inefficiency and conservation, we could lose that plant and it would be fine. That doesn't mean that I'm accepting the fact that coal isn't a problem, but we should be moving in a direction. There's many, many pieces to the puzzle, and I don't think that nuclear power can be looked at in isolation. The whole picture of the way we live, our consumerism, what we waste, what we need, what we don't need. I don't think everybody should live like this. I don't think everybody can, but I do think we should be really behind sustainable energy use. Right now, our governor, Mr. Douglas, is resisting in every way doing anything with wind power to feed into the grid, and encouraging in every way nuclear power. And that's just terribly short-sighted. Politically, it's expedient for the moment, but we could be making tremendous moves towards creating energy in many, many, many little ways, being more efficient, finally being more frugal. And I believe that, well, nuclear is only part of the whole question. We could just do without it. I have friends who work right now in building alternative, single house grid tie alternative systems. It's a huge industry just waiting to be encouraged. The government can encourage nuclear power by subsidizing it, creating the NRC, doing all of those things, but they do very little to encourage this other end. So it's just understanding and reprioritizing, dealing with this in a way so we look to the future. So we look at sustainability, not look at short-term profits by corporations and then this wall of fear that they like to. In the old days it was, we would freeze and starve in the dark if we didn't have a nuclear power plant. And these are just tactics that are used, and sadly we fall for them much too easily. Like all the other things that keep moving along, we were promised that this thing would be closed at a certain date. We were not told that this would be uprated by 20%. We were never told that we would be storing waste in our community. Now they're talking about maybe not decommissioning until 2060. These are all things that again, it's a shell game. They keep moving the target along. So I don't trust them at all. They're endlessly spinning words. I go to VSNAP meetings and I listen to these guys talk about all this wonderful technology, and they love to lose us in the minutia of scientific detail. And we never just look at the simple target of what is this about? What's the future? What do we need?